Welcome on in, everybody. Tobin here with you. Thanks for checking out the channel. If you guys could subscribe here. Hope everybody's doing good. You know, it's nice. We're, now 24 hours past all the anarchy that was Damian Lillard. It was great to do the radio show today, get some callers out there. Listen, I got to tell you, a lot of callers still remaining big time faithful, and that's really cool to see. A lot of Heat fans still standing strong after what happened. I'm still not okay with it. I'm still upset by it. It was interesting. I know I posted a video this morning and I was talking about, the Heat getting too cocky. And I think shortly thereafter, it's always the risk when you do things so early in the morning, but like new details did come out. And look, I definitely think that there's a couple things that I found interesting out of the Shams report, particularly, which gave a lot of insight into the deal. I found, it definitely seems like Joe Cronin and Portland's ownership too. I mean, Portland's ownership and whoever's running the show over there. If you guys don't remember, Damian Lillard kind of had there was some pretty public frostiness last year when he signed his extension. There was a kind of a hit piece out there for the Blazers owner, Jody Allen, who was running the thing, and there's talks that there's this other dude who's like, kind of the guy actually running the show. So I don't know, how stable things are over there. And it's one of the things with the Heat. They do always have this unified front, and they've had the same people there basically for some of them there since the inaugural season, like Andy Ellisberg, and some of them basically there since Pat Riley has taken that puppy over. But I'm still a little bit, I guess, confused because it almost feels like when the Heat, here's the deets. Here, let me give you the breakdown of it. So it's like the thing that seemed to piss the Heat off with all this was they initially asked, and there's been multiple reports are confirming this now, Herald, Athletic, that the Blazers' response to that was, well, give us Jimmy or Bam. And you're like, all right, well, grow up, Peter Pan. Like, let me know when you want to have a real negotiation. And then the Heat never really seemed like they were able to get a roadmap in there to figure this thing out. And I still think that the Heat do have to bear responsibility for never smoothing things over and getting them to the place where they could communicate with the Blazers. I don't know what that takes. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm a man who makes whale sounds and puts on a cap. I don't know what it takes to run an organization. But what I do know is you have two guys on the top here with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, who you've had a lot of success with. Their third best guy has had injury issues in the playoffs. And you seemingly are always circling the whales and the stars because you're not quite sure if he is good enough to be that final piece for them, whether it's age, whether it's talent, whatever they think the reasons are they have. But yet we always seem at this impasse of like, we're not going to give up too much to get the guy. I have a big problem with it. I for the most part, like, when it's guys like Kevin Durant and Damian Lillard, I just think the rules are different. And I think you have to swallow a little bit because really what you're doing is you're hoping to go all in and win because of Jimmy Butler's age and get him something. But it definitely does feel like you read the piece, like there was a real double middle fingers from Joe Cronin towards, I think, Aaron Goodwin and the way they've handled all this, and also the Miami Heat, because I think he felt like they were working in the weeds to get things done. I think there was one of the interesting things out of this was that Shams reported is that Damian Lillard was apparently so willing to get to Miami, or really wanted to get to Miami. His last kind of ditch effort to smooth things over was, I'll go to camp. I'll give you time. You don't need to make it a camp. I'll show up. I'll be a pro. And he apparently did that at the beginning of the month, and then apparently just stopped even talking to Dame's representation in the middle of the month because he just wanted a deal done before camp. So he definitely, I don't dismiss the fact that he had it set in his mind at some point, F Miami, I'm not sending him there. And I don't know what the Heat could have done to get over that spite, but I almost feel like the read on it is they accepted that too easily. that, oh, we have this guy who really wants to be here, and oh well, they're not picking up, they're not negotiating. So you have out there this report now that said, oh, Miami was going to offer this treasure trove of picks. They were going to offer Tyler Herro, maybe Jovic. Who's to say? I mean, what does it matter now, right? I probably, even if you just said that they would have offered Tyler, if they would have offered Tyler Herro in the 2 picks, the stuff that we know about, right? And they would have worked with the Suns. I mean, I almost feel like that's a better deal because we've seen the bevy of teams that are apparently interested in Tyler Herro, right? So, my stance doesn't change too much off of, I do think that he got a little too cocky that they thought this was all going to swing their way. And here's the thing I'm also confused about from them is, what is it, right? It's like, well, there were reports that we're not going to be too desperate and we're going to have a price point. And you've heard this from Windhorse and you heard this from Levitard and all these different sides of it, that he weren't going to get too desperate. They had their price point and that was it. And I'm just of the mindset that, like, look, man, you are going to it's not like if you traded all the young guys, the cupboard was going to be bare. Like, let's just say the Heat did throw everybody out there, right? Let's just say that move did happen. If the Heat are looking at that as an overspend, one, they're not a team that has been a draft team, right? Like, they usually, Pat said this, I'm not a bad draft pick guy. Then it's like, oh, once every other year. Like, he is fine with dealing the picks because typically when they get a rookie in here anyway, that dude's not going to play his rookie year. They're going to develop him. They're going to try, because Spo is not a guy. It's very rare what he did with Tyler Herro when Tyler Herro was getting as much playing time as he was as a rookie. But typically it's the bit role like Bam has, and you're slowly being brought along. Sometimes you're a super development like Nikola Jovic is. Sometimes you're, playing and then he don't trust you anymore, like Precious Achiuwa. It's not, and then sometimes if you're an undrafted rookie, maybe you'll even get a little bit more leeway because you're a little bit older. But, all right, so like you're not, I think, overvaluing the picks. You're not a huge pick team anyway. You're not a huge rely on the young guys team anyway. Are you going to overspend by giving up Tyler Herro? Like, he seems to be in every rumor. I mean, I think that they definitely, there's a sense from the Heat that Tyler is undervalued, but I do think that the league is kind of spoken, and you do have to acknowledge that, hey, whatever you think of your guys, other people seem to have another opinion. And I want to get to something on Tyler here in a second, but, and then Jovic, it's like, you better be damn sure. And you're going to play him, and Spo loves him. And you believe that with his body being the way that it is and the skill set, I love a lot of the skill that he has. I love the size that he has. Obviously, we love the age. Obviously comes from a rich basketball tradition, and Serbia's doing some big damn things. But, I got to see Spo commit to it. And I got to see him, let the guy flounder a little bit and see if he's going to give him the runway in the regular season to develop. So, all that being said, yes, I acknowledge dealing with Joe Cronin seemed like he was a huge pain in the ass and petty and spiteful and a crybaby. But I do feel like the Heat kind of relented on a couple of things. One, he's going to come back eventually. He's going to break eventually, because they felt like they had Dame in their pocket, which it seems like they very much did. But if it really was to the point where communication was 0.0, the thing I always was scared of like, all right, well, who's to say that Dame doesn't change his mind? And, if you guys, I've mentioned time and time again, like I always just go back to that time with Jimmy in Philadelphia where, we thought Jimmy was coming here from the Wolves, made a mess, did the sit down with Rachel Nichols. Where did he want to go? All of a sudden, things got personal, never got smoothed over. Boom, he's on the Sixers. So, yeah, look, I get it that he can play the poor us card. We weren't allowed to really play with the same deck as everybody else. But you can't act like you guys didn't finagle some of this stuff with Dame and his agent too. So, there weren't back channels being used by the Heat too. So I can't if you knew that was going to be a thing where Cronin was going to get sensitive about it, where he's crying to the league about it, damn, dude, you got to find some way to smooth things over so you could actually have a real negotiation. You can't just throw up your hands and be like, well, he never wanted to talk. What? They're eventually going to come back. Huh? So that's kind of my thoughts on the new details that came out since the last time I spoke with you guys on the channel. But on Tyler, I will say this about Tyler Herro. Nobody seems to be having more fun with these last couple of days than Tyler Herro. The guy has handled it like an absolute champ. He has been making jokey jokes on Twitter. He responded to ESPN, NBA and ESPN. It said Tyler Herro remains with the Heat after having his name linked in a trade reports around Damian Lillard, and he reposted that and goes, "Until next summer." So it's now like it's funny. He's like joking that it's that it's become almost a tradition for him. He's got to deal with it every summer, which is true. You know, Harden, Durant, Damian Lillard. He is, and the man is walked away undefeated and undisputed. The undisputed baby goat of the world, Tyler Herro. And certainly going to be asked about it, I'm sure, on Monday. Which, by the way, the show will be down at Heat Media Day. Very excited about that. And then he also posts, in all seriousness, as a kid from Milwaukee, I'm grabbing me a Dame jersey. Oh, man. I'm glad he can laugh. It's fun. I did see the Dame jerseys, by the way. Disgusting. Disgusting green. Ugh. Hate them. But look, I do think for Tyler, last year, if there were hard feelings about negotiations, I think they kind of went away when he got 20, 30 guaranteed. And he got to start. I actually think on Tyler's part, he could take a page from Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. And it's not apples to apples because Tyler didn't deal with a lot of the adversity that Tua did. If anything, I think he kind of came in right off the bat and he was a sensation, right? Boy wonder, talking bleep, baby goat, bad, killing it in the bubble. But, has had his now own postseason issues with the groin injury and even saying last year, was in the mud. Said when he broke his hand, I knew the regular season, whatever I did in the regular season didn't really matter. I had to prove myself in the playoffs. But for him, it's all there. He has this chance now to shut everybody the hell up, even his own organization, for it always being out there. He's got a chance to be the guy who can be an even more devastating scorer. He talked this year about in the offseason, his trainer, Drew Hanlon, that he needs to get to the line more. He averages 94% from the free throw line. He gets there under 3 attempts a game. And that's got to change. As that note said to him, that's got to change. Can he up that average? Like he said, 226 points a game. Could he get it to that point? And if he can do that, if you're talking about a guy who could be that devastating a scorer and can get to that level, and damn, the dude is a sniper. He's got pretty touch basically everywhere. The dude, I will say, like for all the playoff talk, when it is the regular, that guy down the stretch in games late, dangerous, dude. So he's got this opportunity to do it like Tua did, where Tua had his organization looking all over the place. They really weren't sold. They looked at Deshaun Watson. Yeah, there were some outside factors. Dumb luck happened. Deshaun Watson got some trouble. Dolphins, too hot for us to touch. Then Brian Flores gets fired. Tua, is he going to be the quarterback? Well, Dolphins, they got this guy, Bruce Beal. He's kind of talking to this, and, maybe they're working with Sean Payton. We'll see what happens. I don't know. And then, boom, they get busted for tampering. Well, now you got to go with Tua. How do you do that? Got to get a coach that supports him, can build him back up, can go to the best of his skill sets. But damn, seems like it's worked out pretty damn well for the Dolphins. And so for Miami, they're in this spot where we've sniffed around Kevin Durant. We've sniffed around James Harden a little bit. We poked maybe, on the outskirts of Spider Mitchell. Seemed like we had this whole thing, drummed up with Damian Lillard, and then it just cooled off real quick. But it's in Tyler's hands now. He's got to be the one who's like, you guys need to stop flirting around with everybody. I'm that guy. I'm going to be the guy who has the great chemistry with Bam Adebayo, who has the ability to be that offensive relief around Jimmy Butler, who's going to, probably have to be a big-time playmaker for this team. All of the levels of his game have to rise. And, for a guy who has compared himself to Ja, to Luka, to Trae Young, this is his grand chance, because I think everybody has kind of looked and said, nah, you're a nice player, but you're not a star. Could have been argued that he deserved to be an all-star. His 6th man of the year season is just, do reserves ever get there? But he was damn good. His numbers were deserving of it, I thought, especially for the Heat being a 1 seed, Jimmy and Bam being a little bit banged up. I thought that he really should have been one of the Heat's reps going there. But the guy I still think has all-star potential. And so it's all there for him. He can be the guy that shuts this all up. He can be the guy that puts an end to all talk. He goes out there. He does make himself that kind of a dynamic story. Does get to the line more. He does operate and get out there and play make for his team. We know he's a fantastic rebounder. Even on some things defensively, I thought that he was improving in some areas. Had some key steals in some games last year. And then we'll see what happens when it gets to the second season. But it is going to be in his hands to show the Miami Heat that, just like the Dolphins, you got a little dumb luck that these deals didn't come to fruition, and you got your own hometown guy, homegrown guy, who is going to be that final piece, who is going to be the guy who gets Jimmy and Bam over the hump, who's not going to be looked upon as the guy who was addition by subtraction, that the Heat went on a run because I wasn't out there anymore, being a liability on defense. Shut those doubts up, that I can be a guy who can score at all the levels, and I can get to the line, and I can be a little bit more physical. I could deal with the physicality. He can shut that all up. It's all in his hands. He's got to make it so that the Miami Heat don't want to look anymore. This is his chance. And you don't want to know something? I think the kid's got the moxie and got the talent to do it. I really do. He has handled all of this in probably the most perfect way. He's gone quiet about it. He hasn't really bitched about it. He's had some fun on social media with it. And you also got to remember the age, too. Like, anytime there are he's 23. 23-year-olds look at social media a lot. He's not, Jimmy, who's in his 30s and doesn't give a rat's ass. Although Jimmy's been doing some social media stuff lately, too, with the whole... He had, some quote that he put out today. What did he say? Hold on, I saw this on... There was a quote that he put on that says, if you only play for the socials, the crowd, and the applause, your happiness will always be in the hands of the audience. Then he puts 3 shout emojis. So he agrees with that, I think is what the kids would say. Look, man, it's been an interesting 24 hours for the Miami Heat. We are days away from media day. Looking forward to being there. Camp is in my backyard here at FAU. So looking forward to that as well. And in spite of everything, no Dame, the exhaustive summer it was with rumors, I cannot wait for this basketball team to be back. I love them. I don't care. You can talk all you want about, Pat didn't get this. Hey, hear me when I tell you. I think Pat Riley in the front office deserves blame for not getting this one over the goal line. Okay? I can't be any clearer than that. They deserve blame. But, even though they deserve blame, you also have to acknowledge, hey, man, this team has been really damn good over the last 4 years. This has not been a team that has struggled and floundered. They have not been the Clippers that got their whales and have done jack shit, okay? That has not been them. They have not been the Nets who got all the super team and did jack shit, okay? They, with Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo and, other pieces that they developed, they pushed this thing really far. I agree. They They need that. Jimmy and Bam need that piece. Is it going to be Tyler? It's in his hands. It's in his hands. And I cannot wait to. Is it going to be Jovic? I want to see it. Let's see if a little bit of that FIBA Jovic, Summer League Jovic comes into play. We'll see if this Hawkins is ready to plug and play. If they're not going to miss the subtractions of Max Strus a little bit. But it's all in their hands. And I still, even with Dame not being here, I cannot wait for the season and see what is this team. Are they going to be the team? Once again, they're going to be the team that everybody's counting out. Oh, that team's a lottery team. Oh, that team's a 40-win team. That team's a 30-win team. Typically, that is the position they like more than anybody. I know everybody's pissed off right now, but that is the reality of it. They love being in that spot. So, hell, maybe they can go shut everybody the hell up once again.